Well, hey there, friends. Together we are live with Trans Northland. I'm super excited to be with you here. It's been a little bit because we had to cancel our last one. But before we jump into things, I want to say my name is Sean Hayes. My pronouns are he, him, and his, and I am a co-founder and the executive director here at Trans Northland, coming to you live from my car across from the depot, where we will talk a little bit more about what's going on here today and why I am on site with our incredible guest star, who I am pumped to welcome to the stage. Guest star, join us, please. And would you share your name, pronouns, and a little bit about yourself?
Yes, my name is Karter Starling. I use he, him pronouns, and I am on the board for Itasca Pride, and I am also working today with Lutheran Social Service for our event.
Heck yes. And that event we are going to definitely tell you all about. But as many of you know who have been tuning into our live stream show here, we love to start off with our favorite and first segment, our Gender Joy segment. And so for those of you who haven't tuned in before, basically what this is we share a moment of gender euphoria, gender joy that each of us have experienced lately. So, if you're a trans person, that might be something related to your transition, about coming out. It also could just be, I bought a new cool shirt that I love, or I got my nails done and I feel really pretty with them, or, so it literally can be anything that has brought you some joy. And Karter, I'm excited to hear if you have a story to share with us today.
I do. I have two little ones. So I have my top surgery consult on Friday. It'll be my second consult. The first one was not the right surgeon for me, and that's important. I said no, we're looking for more. So I have that on Friday to look forward to. And I'm about 2/3 of the way through a speech language pathology program through the University of Minnesota Duluth, and it's actually free if you get yourself on the list for gender affirming speech therapy.
Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing, and like an amazing resource for folks out there who might be interested. But oh my gosh, congrats so much on the consult. And that is such a huge deal and can take such a long time to get set up, and just it's quite the process. So
It
I
is.
wish you the best at this consult.
Thank you.
For sure. And for me, I'm trying to think. This is a time of year where I have a couple different, I say transiversaries. It was right around this time, probably about 9 or 10 years ago, that I legally changed my name. And I have, reminders that sort of pop up every year to remind me of that. And that was such a really beautiful time. I had loved ones, with me to support me, at that court date. And I just remember coming out of there with my name, legally mine, and just feeling so much more, I don't know, full, whole, and like things just fit better for me. And now it's, it's kind of a weird time to talk about something like that, as lots of trans folks are struggling now in different states in our country to get the identification to match who they are. And so just want to also own that that's some privilege too, that, we experience with these gender joy moments too. But nonetheless, we are happy for everyone when we experience joy, especially now when it can feel hard to come by. So thanks again, Karter, for sharing about your joy. And yeah, we're going to pop into our event highlight section of our live stream. So as we know, we are here live on the ground at an event, which I'm going to let Karter tell you all about in a minute. But I definitely want to mention and invite all of you who are watching, whether you're live or checking it out later. We are having our Transgender Day of Visibility community event this coming Sunday. That is March 29th. And we will be back here at the depot. Oh, let me see if I can turn the There it is. There's the depot. That's where we are now and where we'll be back on Sunday. And that event goes from 1 to 4 p.m. Everyone is welcome to come and celebrate the trans folks in your life and in your community. We'll have basically a huge marketplace set up in the Great Hall of the depot. There will be art making space and a quiet sensory space as well available for folks. And if you get there early, you might get a free slice of pizza from Pizza Luce. Our friends there have donated a handful of pizzas, so get there early and you can get a slice. So you can find all those details and more on our social media, Facebook, Instagram. And yes, so then today, Karter, I want to definitely hand it over to you to talk a little bit about today, and then we'll obviously, I think, get into more of the nitty gritty, some more details of the work that you do. But yeah, tell the good people what we're doing out here today.
Absolutely. And also, if you're watching this later, our event goes from noon to 7 today. So if you're working, if you are late to the live stream, we're here till 7. We are doing an event called Protect Your Rights ASAP, Advanced Self-Advocacy Planning. As we kind of alluded to at the name change story, there's a lot of concern about our rights being eroded and how do we protect ourselves in these really scary times. So this event is meant to be a one-stop shop to get those things taken care of. We have multiple certified folks here who are ready to help with things like a healthcare directive and healthcare agent, which can make sure that your chosen person has the power to be by your side in the hospital and make choices on your behalf and advocate for you. So right now in Minnesota, there is no official next of kin law. So there is no official way to dictate who gets to make the choices in case you have an emergency. It's usually just a hospital by hospital policy. So this is a really good way to write down exactly how you want to be treated and exactly who you want to have in the hospital with you at any given time, whether or not we have the rights that we have right now. Another thing that we're working on today is the power of attorney. Which covers a whole lot of things. It's a lot more of the financial side, but it can also be some of the healthcare side. And within that, we also have the designation of parental authority. So if our rights change, or even if they don't, this is a document that you can fill out now to say, if something happens to me, this is the person who gets to make education, living, healthcare, etc. choices for my children while I'm incapacitated or if I am gone. So we will have access to get all of those things done with certified people who can walk you through all the hard questions. We have notaries ready to go. It is just come in, get it done, have that extra layer of protection for your rights.
Yes, thank you, thank you. And yeah, if you didn't hear, it's free. I mean, these services typically cost, they can cost upwards of a couple $100, right? If you're,
They're
you
lawyer
have
services
a
sometimes.
lawyer.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. So come down, as we said, 12 p.m. We're open now. There are people, while we're talking, who are ready, if you're ready, to come down now until 7 p.m. We will have folks here at the depot. So come on down and join us and grab some snacks. Karter, I mean, y'all brought some good snacks too. Awesome. Well, yes, we hope to see some of you down this way. And yeah, as we kind of dig deeper into our conversation, I'm really excited that I got to connect with you, Karter, to do this event and get to know you a little bit. And I'm always excited to introduce folks to our community because I think there's so many folks out here in our queer, trans, gender expansive community, and we're all doing such cool things, and I want everyone to know. So I would love to jump into that. And I know, I can't remember, you may have mentioned at the beginning, but I would love to hear a little bit more about how you got involved with Itasca Pride. For those of us who are, based more in the Duluth Superior, Twin Ports area, maybe nobody knows that there's a Pride happening up there. So I'd love to hear a little bit more about that.
Absolutely. So this will be our third Pride. So it was October of 2023. We all just kind of got together and decided that this is a thing that needed to happen. And we got started forming our board and becoming an official entity. So I only moved here in 2022. So it was very quickly it's hard to make friends in rural Minnesota. So you start seeking out good folks as soon as you can, because it took us a good 6 months to really find our people. And once we did, it was just kind of natural from there. It was time. There had been other smaller like pride groups that had formed and fallen apart and formed and fallen apart, and nothing had been solid. So we just needed to get it together and make it happen.
Heck yeah. As it always seems to happen, you know, there's always like a group of folks in community who come together and
Mm-hmm.
they're like, we want to have this thing, right? And then community makes it happen. And so are y'all already working on like this upcoming year? Like what can you share about the event itself? Is there like a save the date? How's that going
Yes.
for you?
We start working on it in December, specifically because food trucks are hard to work with. Historically, we have shared the same weekend as grandmas. That's not the case this year, but that has made it very hard to get food trucks up north. So it is on June 14th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. this year. It's a Sunday. And we have our drag queens lined up. We have a DJ dance party in the afternoon. We have a really wonderful acoustic artist playing on the stage in the morning. And we usually have between 50 and 60 vendors. This is the year I'm the treasurer and I have to do all of the finance and risk management. They finally talked me into a bouncy castle. So there will be a bouncy castle this year. That's the big development.
Yes.
So we have another planning meeting Saturday. So we're just trucking along, but we have all the food trucks secured. We're maxed. So that's now everything else is fine. People are fed.
Everything else will come together. That's right. Oh my gosh. I have learned that lesson too,
Mm-hmm.
about the food trucks. And this last Trans Joy Fest, I think we had the most we've ever had. Last year, we maybe had four food trucks.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like a month after that event, I started reaching out to them again. And I was like, yo, get our date for next year on your
Yep.
calendar. So yeah, I think we've got like 7 or 8 food trucks now signed up for our event in June, Trans Joy Fest. So that is a thing. And you would have no idea, right? Unless you're a community organizer doing this kind of behind the scenes planning stuff to put these events together. Oh man, I was going to ask, okay, there was 2 questions. One of them is I'm losing it, but the second one is I'm curious because I'm not super familiar with like the range area myself. I've been up that way a couple times, but I believe our vice chair of our board of directors, that queer Isa,
Mm-hmm.
has been up, you know, is from that area and maybe has performed at your Pride events too.
Yes,
And I
absolutely.
know,
And will again this year.
heck yeah, there you go. Okay, so shout out if you're a fan of that queer Issa, if you're from up in, you know, that way on the range. I'm guessing, are there ways that folks could like connect with y'all if they wanted to come and help, like plan and
Oh,
volunteer?
absolutely. You can reach out to volunteers at itascapride.org. And I just want to clarify because I can hear the infighting already. You definitely aren't from the range because we're technically not the range. Like geographically, we have iron, but if you ask anybody north of like Nashwauk, we don't count. So don't start the fights.
Ooh, ooh. Don't listen to me. I'm just a Duluthian. I don't know my range, Northwest Minnesota. Don't definitely not trying to start any fights or drama. Although we know there's always drama in the queer community. I mean, in every community. Let's be real. But that is awesome, and I don't know that Trans Northland has ever made it up there to like table. I wonder if we could
I
make
think
that
so.
happen this year. That
You are
could be
welcome to.
cool. Oh, okay. Board of directors, if you're listening, let's remember this. And I guess as I'm like sort of wrapping up that question, I'm curious. I'm throwing some random stuff at you, Karter, so
You're
I
good.
apologize. But, you know, like, I think a lot of folks down here in the Duluth area or like even further south, right, in like the Twin Cities metro area, like we sort of have this idea that northern northwest Minnesota is, you know, I don't know how you maybe you should describe it, but might feel a little scarier, a little bit more conservative, a little bit less safe for queer and trans folks to be. And yet we know we're everywhere. There are queer and trans folks there. So I just wonder if you'd be willing to speak at all about, your experience feeling safe up there and maybe how the community is shifting, maybe. I mean, we always hope communities are shifting and growing for the better, but I'm curious what you would say.
I would say, honestly, most of the challenges that we have faced have been systemic. The city has not been supportive of us, and has gone out of their way to make it harder for us to do what we do, which has been frustrating. But then for every time that a city official or a city power that is power that be makes things harder, we have other people who will help make it easier. So we just have to know where the good folks are. Otherwise, safety wise, people are loudmouths, and that's a problem. The first year we had quite a bit of protest. There may or may not be restraining orders, which makes it a lot safer for us moving forward. But there was definitely, especially that first year, we had a lot of internal discussion about like, okay, this is a big thing. It's getting a lot of weird attention from a lot of weird people. The police are going to be there. They know, they have heard, they're aware, they're going to be there. So do we want to not communicate with them and not have a clear understanding of what their plan is and not be informed, or do we want to have to sit down and talk to the police? And that was quite a big discussion internally. Not empowering or enabling, but also if we don't cooperate, then we have absolutely no leverage, understanding, communication. So we've had to really navigate that to the point where we have one person who is the police liaison who just does the communication piece and keeps it where it needs to be, because otherwise, and even with that communication, they did go behind our backs to do extra things that they didn't share with us openly they were going to do that first year for safety. And it was an icky feeling, but also, yeah, it's rough. But I would say that the feeling of safety comes from the empowerment and from the community building. So last April, we opened our physical space. And so we have lots of events rolling through the month. Starting April, the first Tuesday in April, we have a book club happening from 5:30 to 7. We have a monthly craft group on the second Thursday from 4:30 to 6. We do a trivia night at Klakow Brewing from 6 to 8 on the second Tuesday. And then every fourth Saturday, we have coffee and conversations from 10 to noon. And we have some rolling like virtual events and stuff. We have a Discord that we don't like hand out, but it looks like I'm frozen. Am I frozen?
I can still hear you. Oh, now you're moving
okay.
Again.
If we don't just hand that out, but if you come to an event and connect with us, we'll get you in there. It's really secure and safe in that way. But that community is what helps us through adversity. And it has been so empowering for so many of our community members, ranging just from learning how to be a stronger leader all the way to, I'm going to come out to my mom this weekend and I don't know how it's going to go. Can you help me if I'm not safe? Yes, we sure can. We're here. We're ready to go.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm really glad I thought to ask that question because, I mean, it sounds like there is a ton of community that is happening despite the fact that the area still is challenging to be probably openly, visibly trans or queer. But yeah, I think that very much, I think, was my experience when I first came out as a trans person in Duluth. This was like 11 years ago. There weren't as many places to gather or groups or craft nights. I mean, it really has expanded here in ways I never saw possible, honestly, back then. And it just reminds me again of like our events calendar, which let me like flash that back up here. Because I was thinking too, Karter, I need to make sure I have all of those groups. If y'all are willing to share the details with our calendar, we want to have those kinds of things on our events calendar so folks from kind of all over can find ways to connect, whether they're in Duluth or Itasca area, Virginia, or wherever. So if that's cool, send me stuff. But this conversation around safety, I mean, obviously it's been growing and many, many more conversations are happening at these levels, with different pride groups and just our LGBT groups, folks doing work in community too. And so it is interesting. There's a lot of folks who would say, you know, they don't want police involved at all. And yet it sounds very much like it is a way that y'all have to move about based on your geography and the setup of y'all's towns and
They're going to
communities.
be there whether we want them or not. And also, we're located right on two state highways. So it's beyond anything that we could possibly try to control or put a lid on. So it's like we would rather be informed about what their plan is so that we can organize around that than have to go in blind.
For sure. Yeah. And I love that idea of having like a liaison, someone who, you know, does not have, you know, maybe past trauma with police or law enforcement, you know, someone who's willing to volunteer to be that person. I'm just like, huh, yeah, I'm going to like store that away, you know, for conversations we have that we're constantly having at Trans Northland about safety and how do we make sure our events are safe and that people who attend them feel safe and can see, you know, visible signs of that planning that we do as organizers. So yeah, thank you for sharing. I mean, like I said, I'm kind of clueless about up north. And so it's really, I think, good for us to connect. And I'm just feeling grateful again that you're on this call right now, sharing more. And so as we move into our next question here, so yeah, what is it that, I mean, Lutheran Social Services, I think that place does a lot of things, but can you tell us more about what you do there and maybe how you got involved in it?
So I am aware of many hats. I'm managing the Age Friendly Minnesota grant right now, which I am collecting the stories of queer elders in the Northland, especially rural, but in general. So if you'd like to do that, you can reach out to my email through Itasca Pride. It's treasurer@itascapride.org, or you can come to the event and sign up on the sign up sheet today and get to meet me and we can chat. But another part of that is helping elders get their healthcare directive and healthcare agent paperwork in place. And the major part of that is that if you have an emergency, whether you're an elder or not, like let's say that you have a car accident and you go to the hospital and you're deemed incapacitated. If you don't have a clear person to make decisions on your behalf, every emergency decision that happens about your health has to go to an ethics committee. So that means the doctor has to identify that you need the help. Then they have to go to a board, and then the board has to talk about it, and then they have to vote on it, and then they have to approve it, and then it has to go back to the doctor to get you the care that you need. And so how that is often circumvented, because obviously that's not efficient, is that you will be put under emergency guardianship, which usually would last for 90 days. But the other big part of my job, which we'll get into in a minute, I can tell you for a fact, most of the time, 90, 85, 90% of the time, it goes to being permanent. And so there are very specific rights that you will lose by having a guardian: the right to choose where you live, the right to take care of your personal needs and personal property, the right to medical decisions, the right to signing contracts, to supervision, whether you're supervised or not, the right to manage your own benefits, the right to legal protection, and then a couple of other smaller ones. But there's a lot there. So having the healthcare directive and healthcare agent in place, what happens is that when you're in the hospital and you're deemed incapacitated, those rights for the moment will go to the person of your choice, specifically just for healthcare decisions, so that you don't have to have emergency guardianship. None of those other rights have to be touched. That person steps in, is informed by your wishes, and makes the right choices for you. And then when you are recapacitated, then you have your right immediately restored. So it's just a really great way to protect our rights.
Yes, and so important. I mean, I will share as like a unmarried, you know, person who, you know, my family is mostly conservative folks, and we share different values in that way, and so I personally I'm gonna plan to sit down with someone, one of the professionals today, for myself, because I think that for me at least, and maybe for other folks, it feels weird to have to think about planning for these things, right? Like we're talking about, if I end up in a coma, if I end up dying, what happens to all of, you know, my possessions, what happens during my healthcare journey, you know, I mean, those are things that like we don't want to think about, and they feel weird and kind of icky maybe, but also like empowering things. Right? Like if I talk after and can figure out like what does it look like for me, how do I make sure my kid is protected after, you know, if something happens to me, and all of that, and then that my wishes as a queer trans person are respected during whatever, you know, may happen to me. um, and so yeah, I think it may feel weird, and even if you can't make it to the event today, like there are plenty of folks, you know, Karter included, who can help you and assist you. You know, not just today, it's not the only opportunity. And so I would just say start thinking about that. Start thinking about what that may look like for you personally. You know, who do you want to be making those choices for you if you are unable or incapacitated, right? These are really important things, and we want to make sure all of our community members have as many of their rights protected as possible, especially in this climate we're living in now. And we want you to have that, you know, peace of mind that like I'm good to go, my kids are good to go, my partner, my family, whoever it is. Yeah, and so just remind me, Karter, so if folks can't make it out today, they can reach out to you, or what's the best way for them to kind of set up a time to talk?
Yes, we have. So I would email referral with no S at lssmn.org and just state you would like to work with someone to set up a healthcare directive and assign a healthcare agent, and you will get put with the right person. We have a grant through the end of June to do this and offer this service for free. So as long as you get it squared away by the end of June, you will not have to pay for the service.
Right on. And does that look right? Referral at
Yes.
lssmn.org? Perfect.
Oh,
There it
sorry.
is.
SDM.
Oh,
SDM referral, not just referral. SDM referral.
referral. Let me
My
update
bad.
that. SDM referral. Got it. And let's save that. I'm doing too many things at once, but we want to make sure y'all have this information.
That's okay.
SDM referral at LSM. Yes. Okay, great. Yes. So make sure if you're not stopping down today that you get in touch. And I'm sure there's other organizations and businesses, lawyers you can connect with as well if you have the means. But yeah, and to be fully transparent, of course, now my laptop is getting ready to die. And so, unfortunately, we are going to have to cut this live stream a little bit short. I do have some time, and I want to get to this final question that we always ask our guests, because we think it's so important all the time, but especially now, too, when things feel extra stressful, extra scary, extra uncertain. How are you taking care of yourself, Karter? And maybe by you sharing, I'm hoping some of our viewers may be able to get some ideas on maybe how they could too.
So not even just with the world outside, but my family, my household has been kind of living in crisis mode for since November. For me, it's just been therapy and rest and just being patient and gentle with myself, because it's like I am at full capacity and have been for like 6 months. So it really is just, it's okay not to be okay. And it's okay not to be at full capacity. It's okay to say no to things. It's okay. And you don't have to feel bad. And then what I've been working on more recently in therapy, I was asked by two different therapists if I don't reach out much to others because I'm afraid of being a burden. And I was like, no, burden's not the right word. It's selfish. I don't want to be selfish. One of my values is stability. And I'm trying right now to work through, is stability like an internalized white supremacy moment that I'm having? Am I saying that I can't ask for help from others? I can't rely on my community, even though I'm providing to the community because of stability. I don't want to be viewed as unstable. I don't want to bring chaos to other people. I see the chaos that's going on in everybody else's lives. And that's something that I think I'm going to have to start working to dismantle in myself. And I think that's the biggest self-care that I can do right now, is just focus on that.
Oof. Yeah, that is good stuff. Rest, taking care of ourselves. Therapy, for
Yeah.
sure, if folks can afford to access therapy. And I know there's a lot of different options now out there, like that are virtual that folks can connect with, that are even like, designed for queer and trans folks.
Hmm.
So you can definitely find more info about that out there. And you can also connect with us. You can connect with Karter, and we can help you. We want to make sure our folks are taken care of and getting the support that they need. And I definitely can relate to, I think, what you shared there, Karter, of just, and mine, I think, is like I don't want to be a burden to people because, yeah, I mean, everywhere you look, we all have, like, obviously the crushing weight of like this current administration on top of us, right? Pressing down, causing all of that tension and fear. And then we also all have like our individual stressors and things that we're dealing with, and grief and loss and breakups, and you name it, like we are all feeling a lot of the pressure. And so I think for me, I've been trying to learn and think about it as like it's a practice. I have to practice asking for help. And then I have noticed that feel a little bit easier, especially when it's like I'm reaching out to my chosen fam folks. Those are the folks that like I know, support, and love, and I can trust, to let me know too. Like if they're like, I don't have capacity right now, Sean, and
Hmm.
that's okay too. Like we got to be honest with what we can give, and a lot of us are giving probably more than what we have capacity for, because that's just kind of how we are. And we do need to pause and rest, and connect with our people. So yeah, I
I
just want to,
remember, sorry,
yeah,
the
no.
first time that one of my friends said, "Thank you for saying no to me." And I was like, oh, that's something. I have to chew on that for a bit. And so that's been something with the Itasca Pride board that we've brought in is thank you for saying no. Because if we keep saying yes, we're going to burn.
That is an awesome practice. I might
Mhm.
borrow that. I'll give y'all credit. But yeah, that's another thing too. It's like no is a full sentence. I don't have to actually explain why I don't have the spoons or the energy. I can just say no, and show up the next time when I do feel like I can. And so that's great. Okay. Awesome. Well, sorry about the technology, batteries dying, etc., folks. And sorry about that, Karter, for you to cut our conversation short. But I just want to say thanks again for taking the time and for reaching out to us at Trans Northland to help, partner and really put on this super important, event for our community. And who knows, maybe there's opportunities in the future, for us to connect more and offer this again. So y'all can stay tuned for info about that. But until then, we will wrap it up here. And don't forget to come stop down to the depot. We're in the Great Hall. It's a beautiful blue sky day. Come see us and protect your rights ASAP, with Karter and his amazing team. Thank you again for tuning in live with us here, friends. You can follow Trans Northland on Facebook and Instagram. You can sign up for our emails. You can find all of that on our website at transnorthland.org. And yeah, just thanks for being here with us. Thanks for being a part of our community. You all matter, and we will see you next time.
Thank you.
Thanks, y'all. See ya.